Good evening. Pleasure to be here. With your permission, before I start, a quick personal note. Speaking of grandchildren, my grandfather, not my biological grandfather who was murdered in the Shoah, in the Holocaust, but my, so to speak, second grandfather, Shimon Rosenberg, who was the one who adopted my mother after the war. He was a delegate to the 22nd Zionist Congress here in Basel, the first Congress held after World War II, 1946. So I think you can understand that it is extremely meaningful and moving for me to be here today. 76 years later, as the president, the leader of Bezalel, Israel's leading, largest, and the most influential institution for art, design, and architecture. So, in the beginning, there was a dream, his vision. But there was another dream, his dream, or perhaps their dream. Two hipsters, right? The visionary on the right, you know. The one on the left is Professor Boris Schatz, an artist, an educator, who met Herzl in 1901 and pitched to him a crazy new idea, basically a Michiganer project, to establish an arts and crafts school in Jerusalem at the time. The endeavor was really purely a Zionist one, establishing the first ever cultural artistic institution in the dreamt homeland. In the meeting, Herzl asked Schatz, what name would he give to the school? Bezalel, he replied. It was after the first master craftsman, the first artist mentioned in the Bible, Bezalel, the one who designed the tabernacle. Herzl gave his blessing, and just a few years later, the resolution to establish Bezalel was taken at the 7th Zionist Congress here in Basel, 1905. And while neither envisioned the forms and formats this dream would take in the complex reality of today, of the 21st century, Bezalel Academy of Arts and Design in Jerusalem remains true to their vision to this day, to serve as a center for creative activity and inspiration. So since its formal opening in 1906, Bezalel has been known for its excellence in educating and enriching generations of artists and designers, and for encouraging them to use their distinctive skills and viewpoints to better the world, the communities around them. Today, Bezalel has 2,500 students studying towards undergraduate and graduate degrees in 14 academic programs covering the wide spectrum of disciplines, different disciplines of art, design, and architecture. But why am I telling you all this? The Academy's innate strength is its ability to build upon tradition while constantly imagining and reimagining again and again a better world, and quickly translating these thoughts and theories and ideas into useful practical applications and enterprises. I'd like to try and show you some projects done at Bezalel recently. This, for example, is a project from the Department of Industrial Design. It's a prosthesis that you can print at home with a simple 3D printer. The current process of measuring and preparing a prosthesis is extremely expensive, and it takes months. This is a new approach. Using open source code and a 3D printer, one can create probably a better solution and more accurate prosthesis than the usual. It is specifically adapted for different types of users, and it takes just 3 days to make at a cost of a few $100s. Or this is a project in architecture exploring one of Israel's most polluted areas, the oil refineries in the Haifa Bay. The project's goal is to turn this area from a polluting industrial factory site, disconnected and alienated from the city, to a new residential habitat which embraces the old factories to make a new vibrant urban center. Underwater design. Seagrass is a miraculous plant that serves as a source for food for humans and fish, a marine habitat and a facilitator of ecological restoration. Growing seaweed or seagrass can address countless ecological problems, but due to human interference, its growing areas are dwindling. This project presents a new vision for underwater agriculture, restoring seaweed meadows using sowing and growing units. Needless to say, the sowing units are completely biodegradable. And from a completely different perspective, oops, sorry. Okay, I'm missing a slide here, sorry. But this is a student who designed a book that you cannot see, but it's an amazing book. It's a graphic novel depicting in words and beautiful illustrations the amazing story of Regina Jonas, who was the first woman who was ever ordained as a rabbi. She was born in Berlin, in Germany, in 1902 and murdered in Auschwitz. And it's a fascinating way, which unfortunately, again, you cannot see, but it's an amazing way to tell a story, an untold amazing story, while raising important issues of contemporary feminism. And this is a work by a Bedouin student from the photography department, expressing her view on the role of women, the tradition, and the social and political changes within the society she grew in. It's stunning images. Take a look at the details. And finally, this, a large animation installation looking at the collective and individual collapses around us. Climate crisis, economic instability, disintegration of social support systems, and eventually the collapses, basically, of reality into virtual reality and other alternative synthetic realities. Have a look at this. Take a few seconds. Look at the power of the image, the power of art to criticize, to make us think, reflect, contemplate, to make us see. Art is critical, it's subversive, it's defiant. By the way, all the works I've shown you are works done by undergraduate students and shown in our last grad show last month in Jerusalem, undergraduate projects. The projects of these artists and designers are a driving force. They are at the forefront of technology, like the work on the left, robotics, and contemporary craft, like on the right side. They surprise, they provoke, they invent, they inform, they motivate, and they inspire unconventional thinking and actions. Bezalel started here in this building in the center of Jerusalem, which is our School of Architecture. But we are now in the process of relocating and moving our main campus to here. The Mandel campus, a brand new state-of-the-art amazing building in the epicenter of Jerusalem, in the very center of town, at the crossroads of civilizations, a transparent building open to the community that will positively interact with the city diverse communities, reminding our students and us who we are and where we are at. Instilling Bezalel, an institution like Bezalel, into the very center of Jerusalem today, taking a pluralist institution, open-minded, humanistic, furthering tolerance, promoting freedom of speech and freedom of artistic expression, pushing boundaries onto new horizons. Doing this in the very center of Jerusalem today, this move is, I believe, an important Zionist statement in the 21st century in Israel. For Jerusalem, for the city of Jerusalem, this is a game changer, rejuvenating and reinventing the city as an international arts and design center it was envisioned to be. In my personal view, those values, the values we stand for today at Bezalel, they are necessary, they are crucial, they are essential foundations for society in Israel and around the world. Our founding fathers, they knew this. They knew that there's nothing more important than education, as was mentioned before here. And Bezalel is not a vocational school. It's about educating young Israelis and students from abroad. And those founding fathers, they understood that these values are not niceties, they're not luxuries. They never have been. They are, in many respects, our fuel, our energy, spirit, and soul. Thank you.